And welcome to the Dungeon Gamers Collaboration. My name is Jeffrey Russell Wallace, and welcome to Episode 8 of Fell Nightmares. A brief apology for the amount of editing that has occurred in the last two videos. Hopefully things will smooth out as we continue forward. Now, last time we left off with a war breaking out between two factions on a battlefield. If none of that sounds familiar, please go back and watch the previous videos so you're up to date with where we are currently. Now, scoot forward to the edge of your seats and get ready for this episode. In the morning, there are a few individuals walking in your direction. Most of them semi-plated in armor. Some of them look like their weapons. Nope. Walking down the riverside.
Oh.
They're walking on the water.
They're on the boat. Oh shit.
They're walking along the river's edge.
Okay.
There seems to be about 10 soldiers, individuals, humanoid in their appearance, and more towards the human side in their appearance. Pieces of armor, some of it looks like it's been broken and scattered across. Many of them have these open wounds that are just gushing out or have stopped bleeding. The ones that are gushing are being carried or dragged behind. There are empty scabbards, broken spears on the back of people, and they kind of desperately but tiredly wave in your direction. I hate stopping.
You did say you didn't want to stop.
Yeah, so we don't have to stop. We can just keep going, right?
I don't see anything.
Are they of use?
I don't see why they would be. Wounded soldiers on the side of the road asking for help.
Well, I can't help them, personally.
They're injured. I could help them.
Do you want to help them?
How far away can you cast cure wounds? Is that a touch?
We could pull up to the edge and just kind of, spread it along and keep
like
going.
a drive-through clinic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just patch you up enough that they can carry themselves and you're on your way.
I can double the distance to 30 feet.
I can make. They can get close. That's fine. I'll start waving them over. There's a relief as they kind of make their way
I'm
towards
sorry,
the edge.
they're hurt.
Steers the ship to the other side of the river.
Where's the Kenku at?
Kenku's still perched up at the top.
I'm gonna go perch up with
Nuzzled
the
up.
Kenku.
Okay. They seem to be getting their sleep in or their rest in before they change shifts.
I won't bother them then, I'll just...
Yes.
So the ship kind of comes to a slow. Do you think?
Hello?
Hi. Oh, thank you for stopping. We have had no food, and obviously are in no condition to make it much farther. And all of them kind of start slinking to their knees or sitting in just pure exhaustion.
What happened to you?
The ship at this point continuing to slowly move past.
Mm.
We're part of the Walsmith army. There's a whole fighting up ahead. Our battalion, we had some losses, and we got broken away from the rest of our group. We're part of the cavalry, that kind of on our own at this point.
Does the name of that army or anything ring any bells?
If you're proficient in history, you make a history check.
I can't remember if I am or not, and I'm not.
I'm pretty sure Book is.
Yes, I am. Because I'm a monk.
Book, please explain things to me.
And those proficient in medicine, if you'd like to make a check, yes.
Yes, I will do that. Jeez, criminy.
There's a natural one.
Okay.
You look fine to me.
Ooh, that's a nat 20 on my history.
Holy crap. Boy, you have a look for you. So, with a 12,
Bad.
it doesn't take much to know.
Mind you, I can't read, so I recite this all from memory.
Yes. You can tell pretty easily that two of these people that are injured and being carried are dead already. Two of them you're not sure about. Could be unconscious, could also be dead. Whew. Okay, so, look. There is a place on the map if you want to, Ian, if that's reachable for you, to flip over there. Okay, the little circle of cities on the far side. Yes, that is known as Rovan. Currently known as the Runes of Rovan, and most of it's lost to history at this point. It's not even called that anymore. There was a whole slew of clans. Not all of them are coming to mind right now. Turok is one of them that comes to mind because there's a hero known as Theric Turok. Was one of the old heroes that goes with a very old rumor about killing the World Ender Baltimar. Which actually there's a legend that comes to mind that pins to that of Theric, known as the White Wolf, which you saw two wolves during your little god flip about, a white wolf and a black wolf. Theric had a black dire wolf that was a pet of his, and it said that when Theric died, his spirit became the white wolf that plays with the black wolf. So there's a chance that you came across this hero and his pet. But that, chaining that aside, Wallsmith was a completely walled-in city. It was the defense epicenter for Rovan. When shit hit the fan, they didn't stay in the capital city. Everyone went to Wallsmith.
Roughly how long ago was this?
This was, let me see, we're in 700 right now. Back that up. Over 1,250 years ago-ish.
So we're talking like history.
Yes, yeah, you're like pulling from the back of your mind from shit that's been mentioned to you about really old. Like Baltimar is not on anyone's mind anymore, and nor do they believe that was even a thing. Like the World Ender coming every so many years to reset the world, nah, not a thing. Didn't happen. Cool stories.
Yeah, real cool stories until about 3 days ago when I saw it.
Yeah.
Until about 3 days ago when I saw.
So anything.
Yeah, so full stop.
There is that, yes.
Oh, but yeah, we did literally see Baltimore too.
Fuck. Oh, he's still out there. Shit, no gang.
No,
Oh, that's
Electric
like
Waves
the
took care
only
of it.
visual input my brain has ever had, so I probably dream about it too. God damn it.
God damn it.
Gods damn it.
Gods. Plural.
Monkey damn it.
Shit. Monkey.
Darn damn it.
Monkey! So, Wallsmith, Gregory Wallsmith was the head of that kind of clan. There were clans of Rovan at the time. And he was instrumental in bringing down Baltimar. Everyone gathered in Wallsmith as kind of the final bastion for that fight. Supposedly an unbreakable city that fell, and that's where it gets fuzzy. There's a reason Rovan fell, but again, that's really old history.
How would any of that relate to these men that we've got in front of us, if at
Oh,
all?
it doesn't.
So, what relates to them is that, to anyone's knowledge, the concept of any of the clans existing still is impossible.
Ghosts?
The soldiers of Roval, again, nearly 1,200 years ago. So the fact that the clan is either reinstating itself means someone brushed up on their history recently. Or, yeah, maybe you're dealing with ghosts. Hard to say.
I would make sure the captain understood that. Both of those points as possibilities. Like,
Okay.
Either we're
Unless you
dealing
tell
with-
me differently, I'm cooking up a distant cure wounds for someone who's not dead already.
Okay.
So,
I think I would
I don't
mention
know
it to
nothing.
you and just see what happens when you try to heal them.
One other tidbit that comes to you about the Wallsmith clan is they practiced heavily in abjuration magic. And it was said that Wallsmith himself wore an immense plate mail that was imbued with abjuration that made
seem
him
rather pointed.
Immense, you say?
that made him practically immune.
Is it monkey sized?
I guess we'll find out.
Jesus Christ.
So those are your bits about Wall Smith that you remember and that like vividly come to mind. There are other bits of history that you're like, okay, there's more here, but it's in this moment, it's just not quite coming to me.
All of that, plus more that I don't remember.
Chucking a cure wounds, what happens?
Okay.
I'm chucking a rock.
Okay.
And once again,
Okay.
to the surprise of
Good
no
sack
one,
roll.
I rolled like garbage.
They said ghosts. I'm checking to see if they're
Yeah,
corporeal or
absolutely,
not.
yeah.
7 hit points to a ghost, I guess.
Okay.
One that's still alive.
Yeah. Shit. Am I proficient with a rock?
No.
Not proficient with the rock.
Improvised weapon.
Okay. Sounds good. It's a 14 then.
Okay. I mean, technically it's a surprise roll with advantage. It's not like they were waiting for you to throw a rock at them.
14.
Okay. It kind of flies past, hits one, ping, comes off the armor, and he just gives you this exhausted look of why.
Just checking to see if you're a ghost.
No, physically here. And then,
Don't go too far that way.
oh, thank you. Oh, okay. How's everyone else doing? And he has wounds heal over quite a bit.
How many points did you give him?
Only 7.
That's what I thought.
He's an average cavalry man. He's not a.
They're wimps.
He's not
Oh.
a battle-total warrior.
So he's not the dude with the plate,
No.
Oh God, no.
clearly. Okay.
No. And he'll
Sounds like
start.
we may be coming into some rough stuff ahead, though, if there's actually a war going on, and these men are not ghosts.
Start trying to tend to his other friend, and Yavilion will knock his boot. Ship will slow, and then the current will start to take it, and then that arcane push will kind of like weave it back and forward. Do what you gotta do, but make it quick, please.
I'm good. I helped.
The one guy who's looking at like his almost dead compatriots, or now realizing his dead compatriots, looks up at you with just this.
No, I'm just
horror
kidding.
look.
I said I would throw a second one, so I will throw a second one.
Okay.
Yeah. There's another one coming at someone else who looks heavily injured but is still alive. Oh, I suppose I have to roll for it, huh?
It's helpful. And not necessary though, honestly. I mean, that's
7 again.
okay.
I don't think I've rolled higher than a 3 on the D8 for a cure wounds
No, you haven't.
yet.
Except for the dragon.
Where's healer?
The one that you heal heals up a lot less than the others, but does look a little relieved to feel some life force in him again. Kind, who has kind of made her way up to see what the commotion is about, will make her way to the edge of the ship, pull out her spell book. She will kind of form out these arcane runes in front of her, this kind of grayish spectral formation of it, and then tap her chest and start moving her hand back and forward. As she does, you see her skin starts to pale slightly. She looks a little worse for wear, as it were. The person across from her that she finishes pointing to suddenly has that gray energy fill him, has some more life force, and he begins to help his compatriots as well.
That is an interesting spell. What is it?
Unfortunately, no healer. As a wizard, it costs you to do such things. I can walk you through the spell later if you'd like.
Perhaps.
Thorn leaves Rat's shoulder. Flies his way over.
I hate this fucking monkey.
Kind of does a little... warms up the hands.
A little blast at the monkey.
Make an attack roll.
Just blast them off the edge.
Goes over to one of the injured ones.
How many hit points does your monkey have?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would love to know.
No way to
Would you
find
like
out.
to know, weather boy?
Heals one of the soldiers. They start to come back. Monkey kind of struts back, looks at you for a moment, Isidore, gives a nod, flies back over.
I deliberately do not nod back at the monkey. I'm a little salty that the monkey is a better healer than I am.
Yvonne looks at Kind, kind of comes over, brushes her hair back to see this pale kind of skin color now, and none of that. That's for us, alright? You gotta save your strength.
I will put my hand on her shoulder and do a healing light die.
Okay.
If it hurts you to do such, you probably shouldn't.
The monkey's got it covered. You're fine.
Okay. She looks slightly less pale.
While all this is happening, I would go over to the captain and just apologize that we're delaying the schedule so much with our constant stops.
I mean...
Some of certain orders feel compelled to help no matter what the circumstances.
Can't lie, compared to my last few crews and traveling companions, nice to see some soft days.
And I, again, would reiterate
Soft
how
to have an
interesting it
axe.
was that these men claim to be from a clan that hasn't existed in over millennia.
I do find that strange as well. It will be interesting to see what lies ahead, I suppose. Are you done over there? Can we move on?
Yes, they should be able to tend to their own now.
Thank you so much. And
That one's dead.
one of them will go over,
You don't need to
like,
rub it
feel
in.
his neck and be like,
Is he using that armor?
I mean, at this point, we're at its pieces and chunks, and
Never mind.
this has been ripped
Oh
apart.
yeah, they're 1,000 years old.
Oh, is that rust?
These guys, being the cavalry, went into a charge, and they were probably the front of it.
Yeah.
They got freaking just eviscerated.
Now, is this the opposite side of the river that the village was on that we stopped at?
Yes.
Okay. Because, I mean, otherwise, damn, those goblins did a number on these dudes.
Oh.
You know, the goblins we just left to fend for themselves after they slaughtered a whole village of people, but they felt bad about it.
It did feel
Yeah.
bad about it.
So some of them will pull out these kind of short military spades, start digging holes for their fallen members that they didn't know were dead.
Mhm.
The ship will pick back up and continue along the river.
I'll go up to the captain.
Adios.
I apologize for delaying us.
That's fine. I'll charge you more on the back end.
That's fair.
Hold on. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I need the clans. I
You
mean,
don't think he means old Ben can help me?
Oh.
it's just strange. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. Old enough to hear stories.
I think very few probably are.
Well, weird.
How old is he? We talking like Dilf or Gilf? Like, what's...
Yeah, like,
And
oh.
I'm just gonna derail everything.
after that weird, he just kind of turns, makes his way back to the helm of the ship.
How old are you? Just
Just said a can.
Walks away.
mm.
Is there
I
anything
hate to see him go, but love
else
to watch him leave.
that you'd like to do?
Love that chewing gum walk. Very wriggly.
On this moon day before true day comes.
No.
What time of day is it roughly at this point?
It was morning when you ran into them, so still pretty early on.
Sounds like
Okay.
it's nap time.
Is that
Yes.
fishing net up and ready to go? Can we cast that over and do some fishing? While we're going upstream?
Your book's had enough freaking time to definitely fix that.
Oh, it was fixed the day before. That's all I did.
Perfect. Fuck. While we're sitting here.
So question, with how proficient or how your knowledge of fishing nets work,
that's not at all how
do
you
you just take the net and chuck it in? And expect that it's good, or...
Pretty much.
So-
I just look
Holding
at
on
it
to one end, just like, did you tie that to anything?
Okay. Okay, at least only one way, you just threw it in.
Just, oh, wow, this looks important.
Spent hours yesterday mending that net. Just chucked it overboard.
I thought it was connected to something.
So Rat's got half of it just slinking over the water. The other half's in it.
I'm looking at it like, how do you get the fish up here?
Thorin comes over, sits on the edge, starts kind of pondering, waits, dives in.
I was gonna say, can he scare the fish into the net? Hold on,
I'm
let's
torn
go.
between whether or not I want to help or just to watch and see how this all unfolds.
He gets swept down river, ends up having to like fly up.
You guys are making it really hard for me to sleep. Just kidding. I can sleep
That's
anywhere.
not true, you liar.
I'm like flopped back against a crate, like
Already asleep.
the corner in the back of my neck, getting very uncomfortable.
Well, that's
Excuse me.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good night.
I'm okay. Yeah, would there be any conditions under which you couldn't sleep?
I would love to find out. Probably not.
direct combat.
Like if we threw you into the river.
I will cast a sleep spell on myself. Don't tempt me.
Catnap.
I rolled a 24 on my nap check.
Oh, you're out. You're good.
Do I have anything, any fun visions while I'm out? This is like my meditation, my communing with my God is just
you
taking
just
a
have
nap.
more flickering images. Like you see things you saw before, you see a variety of other things, but nothing is clear enough for you to fully grasp any of it yet.
I don't like that. But that's fair. That's mostly what communing with the Electric Waves is like.
As you guys continue your way upstream, there's a point where there's a little slight knocking noise against the front of the ship. Another one, very light. And Athalius will lean over off the edge of the ship and come up with an arrow. A busted, broken, mostly chipped away arrow, and look at it. And lean over. Quite a few things coming our way, actually.
Fishing net?
I would like to look in the water.
Yeah. There's broken spears. Looks like a bent spearhead that's still attached to part of a stick coming this way, floating its way down. And then far up in the distance is a man, young looking, maybe early 20s, blondish hair, that's floating on his back kind of down the river in your direction.
Does he seem alive?
Medicine check.
He's still floating.
Corpses float.
That is a natural 19
Sure,
on the
eventually.
die.
Very much still alive, definitely unconscious.
Is he gonna get tangled in the net?
Eldritch Blast.
Cool.
We'll
All right.
fix that.
Put him out of his misery. If you move to the other side, yes, you could potentially catch him in the net.
I'll catch him in the net.
Potentially. What do I want to be?
A fishing check?
Yeah, give me a strength acrobatics check.
Acrobatics. That's a natural one.
Okay.
That's not happening.
So he kind of brushes up against the net, and his arms are outstretched, his fingers kind of get caught in it, his body gets caught in it, and you go to yank it, and then the rope portion that's kind of supposed to be used with the net that pulls it up gets caught on the other side on like the bottom, maybe a splinter or rock, something, and the whole net just sinks. There's now a man with a net on top of him, floating slightly behind.
Oh, that doesn't look good. He is out like a light.
Athalis will jump into the water,
Sir!
swim over, grab the net, grab him, drag him back to the slowed ship,
I will help.
and then the crew helps pull him up, slough him onto the deck. His clothes ripped, pulling apart. Looks like
Is he armored at all, or does he just look like a dude?
no, he's got cloth.
Like a man.
You look like a man.
Does he look like a bitch?
Cloth
Can't deliver
clothing.
that line appropriately.
Looks like it's been ripped and torn from weapons. Not really a mark on him
I'm bad at
otherwise.
quoting things. Interesting. He doesn't have wounds?
No. He's unconscious. But from all like the broken weapons, if they were used on him, he's not harmed.
Okay. Interesting.
An abjuration master.
One might say.
Interesting.
However, it could be that the weapons were not used on this individual either. So
Does the armor floating down the river look
Well,
epic in any way?
suck.
Epic level loot floating down the river. God.
Hey, that was glowing purple. Why?
Where?
Can I use like if he's unconscious but seemingly unharmed, can I just use like a medicine check to try to rouse him?
Yeah, make medicine check.
Okay. I'm
I
not
would
gonna
say
beat
splash
that.
water.
Yeah,
He was
put your hand,
literally in
like,
the
shake him and go, wake up.
Listen, I went from a 19 on the die to a 6, so that's gonna be a 12.
You're sitting there and not thinking, and you just kind of smack him across the face.
Yeah, don't people...
Does it work?
Don't members of your order know like 12 different ways to wake someone up?
Yeah,
Sure.
we're more good for putting them to sleep and keeping them asleep. I mean, it's got to be an Eldritch Blast, right?
It's gotta be.
Can I use a Witch Bolt as a resuscitator?
You have shocking grasp.
I know I have Shocking Grasp.
Yeah, but Witch Bolt is much more fun.
I know.
How do you know I have Shocking Grasp?
Because you've used it.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, on
I
the
believe
cats. And you're more likely to harm someone with a witch bolt than shocking grasp. Like, you're
I don't
trying-
know. I think 2d8 could probably knock out almost any peasant.
Like at this point, you're trying to just send this man to the grave, is what I'm hearing.
I mean...
Okay, then if that's what you're trying to do, You
no,
absolutely
I
can.
will,
Does he have any jewelry on him? Just lose corpse.
do you give him the once over?
I'll give him a
Yeah, you can give him the once
Does he
over
have a
while
wallet?
I'm
Give me a-
trying to cure him.
Give me an investigation check.
What's this guy's name? That's not great.
Now that he's in touch range, I'm gonna
Yeah,
drop
7.
a cure on him. I was just gonna shout a healing word at him from the water, but...
Okay.
7 for investigation.
Apparently the dice want this man to live.
You don't find much on him.
His clothes are all tattered.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so I'm like, his wallet probably washed down the river. He'll never get that back.
What do you got?
11 points of healing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The dice wants this man to live.
He starts kind of like getting ready to fight, and then
Hold on, you're safe. What happened to you?
I was fighting with a whole bunch of people. I think something came at me. They called me a thief, a killer. Which isn't true. I'm none of those. I'm just a farmer. My house is right up the river. Maybe a day or two.
Who came after you?
Can't say I quite remember that well. It's like a mob.
Of
People.
armored people? Normal people?
Normal pitchfork wielding peasants, you know.
Interesting.
Are you not a peasant?
Well, that's not the point here.
Just call the man a peasant to his face.
Look,
Pitchfork wielding.
I'm
know.
a simple farmer. I like what I do. I live my way by choice, alright? So peasant or not, call it what you will.
Above the other peasants.
But I don't go after other peasants with pitchforks.
I see. Okay.
I thought that was just a peasant pastime.
More civilized. I appreciate that, and if you're continuing to head upriver and you don't mind tagging along one more.
I am not the captain. That would be...
I
Decision?
am the captain,
That's the captain.
and he'll make his way over, kind of lean over him. What do you have to offer, good sir? as far as funds for this voyage. Well, I have, we'll start feeling around. And the one place you probably weren't willing to go there, Wrath. He reaches in towards his thigh, pulls out a coin purse.
Jesus.
I mean,
I always say check the taint, and you say there's not going to be anything in the taint, and I say fine, but the time, you know.
There it is.
In my
And now I've learned.
experience,
There it is.
I'll check the
This
tape.
is why you check the taint.
always check the taint. ACT. Always check the taint.
So he's got nothing but taint
If
money.
it ain't gooch, it ain't good. Okay?
Oh, I think that money's a little tainted.
Gooch is good. Going back to
I'm just like, damn, good man.
he opens up the coin purse, pulls out very finely made pendant. This pendant has this black metal that wraps into kind of a circle piece, and diamonds or some sort of clear gem that circles around as well. And hanging from, or kind of suspended in the middle by a few black metal prongs, are two absolutely diamonds that are set in there as well. This holy symbol is of Valactia. Valactia is a galaxy goddess, typically known as the goddess of the stars. Someone you're probably semi-familiar with, given your galaxy-esque knowledge with Valactiqueus. Per your order, Valactia is a daughter of Valactiqueus.
Cousin.
So, pulls that
Sister?
out. This is all I have to offer. It's been my family for generations. But I'm willing to part with it if it's... And
We couldn't possibly. I just
Your
gonna like
villain-
interpose myself.
at your mid couldn't possibly, your villain's like, price paid, well done. Works for me. Welcome aboard. Takes it, tucks it into his shirt pocket. All right, we're on our way. 2 days, you said? That should more than pay for it.
I think's worth more than we paid for
Can
this
you tie
entire
a knot? Because I think I tore the net.
Oh yeah, the net definitely hit some rocks and scraped against something on the side of the ship because it's just tattered again.
Did it catch a fish though?
There's a minnow
Nice.
Good job.
that got somehow dragged up with it, but you're not sure if it was it or with the man.
Could have been inside the net.
Thorn just snatch it.
Ooh, minnow.
Gollum.
I don't know, monkeys and fish? Yeah,
I could see that.
he probably would.
This monkey? Yeah.
Yeah.
This monkey takes the fish, fucking gates it off the boat.
Yeah. And Thorn will go and land on your villain's shoulder, who will give him a very confused look. And Thorn will just smile, and his paw will slowly start sliding down his shirt. Your villain will just shoo him away. Thorn will go sit, and you can see him just contemplating now. How do I get that?
Like, alright, you little shit. You're gonna get me thrown off this boat.
I mean, it seems like you and the monkey have a shared goal at this point.
Oh, I don't want it. I want him to keep it.
Oh, fair.
I was gonna have him keep it and then pay his journey. 'Cause he's a fellow space person.
The man will kind of...
Astral Sea.
The man will go over, huddle himself under the shade and the shelter of the canopy, and just kind of curl up and stare down, kind of lost in thought.
I will give the captain a grumpy look, and then I'll go over to the guy.
Villan will use his unbelievable charm and just smile back,
Yeah.
give a wink.
Ones are always rude.
I forgot why I'm angry at this man.
Roll for horniness. God damn it, another natural 20. Damn it.
Alright.
I mean, do you really need to roll for that, though?
No. No. Wasn't this man like a 98 percentile of hotness?
It's really
Yeah.
hot. Yeah. Something like that.
Like, whew.
Something in the 90s, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I'll go over to this guy and sit down next to him and be like, a follower of Valactia.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard this a while now.
I'm an acolyte of Galactiquaeus,
Right.
from the far north.
Right.
Are you alright?
It's tired.
Yes.
After being it's never great when you think you're welcome somewhere and the rest of them decide you're not welcome.
Did you recently arrive here?
Well, I've been in my little shack in the woods for a long time now. It's the rest of them that moved in near me.
You have no idea why they came after you.
Thief and murderer, that's what they said.
Well, perhaps you shouldn't do all that stealing and murdering, huh?
Yeah, you saw my coin purse. I'm thieving a lot, aren't I?
I attempted humor and it did not work. I apologize.
You could have stolen that.
This man is pretty much just curled up contemplating whatever chaos he went through. The rest of the crew seem more than content to just continue about their days.
Yeah.
It does seem like one of them is tasked with watching him at certain points. There's always someone kind of sitting on the edge or sitting down under the canopy reading a book or whatever to keep an eye on him. But other than that, they pay little to no mind.
Where's Laquilda at?
Laquilla does have his turn watching. But he typically hangs out towards the edge of the ship. He is usually the one looking for fish, and actually occasionally will, with a rather long spear at his side, attempt to grasp at something on the way by, but his luck is not so good. It's more that he's bored and looking for something to do.
That's fair. I would like to go talk to him.
Okay.
I'll just go up to wherever he is along the edge of the boat and like lean against the railing and look over. Be like, hello.
Hi.
We haven't spoken over much.
No, I was told you were petting me at one point.
Ah. Is that what happened?
It wasn't everyone,
I don't really remember much. Just a
Yes.
sensation.
The, whatever drink that was very strong.
Yes, the drink. Remind me, you are...
Isidore.
Ah, yes. Pleasure. So, Isidore, Laquilla, by the way, pleasure.
Yes.
Extends one, his furry paw of a hand. Give me a shake. How was your trip so far?
Interesting. Very interesting.
It's never... I mean, there are boring moments on the ship, but I swear there's always some crazy thing that happens on the journey. Like a town full of goblins.
A town full of goblins that feel bad about killing.
Yeah, that's the first.
Fascinating. They seemed rather genuine about it too, which was concerning.
Well, we'll see if they were telling the truth.
I suppose we will on the way back through.
Well, you're not coming back with us, are you?
Oh God, I have no idea.
I thought,
In the last few days, we've been shunted all over the world.
to my knowledge, at least from what the captain said, you were heading north.
Yes.
What's north?
Well, I was hoping to head to my home in the far north. And it seems like that was an advantageous direction for everyone.
Interesting.
As I said, we've had an interesting few days before we joined the ship, and there's no telling what will happen.
Oh, it's too bad it's home. I've been needing a new place to start pickpocketing.
I don't think you'd find very much there.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Quite cold.
It'd be nice to earn a few more coins. He'll kind of flip a couple of gold plate pieces between his fingers. But beggars can't be choosers. And set them down on the railing of the ship.
Did he?
I think those are yours.
Kind of lean over, stare at the water. Tail will kind of flick back and forth.
Did you? Are those?
That wasn't obvious. Yeah, those are yours.
I'm perhaps not very perceptive. Thank you for returning them.
I'm getting antsy. As much as I love the water, I love adventure more.
If you don't mind me saying, I do find it surprising that you like the water so much.
Thanks. I guess.
Yes. Question mark?
I haven't been on boats overly much, but it's normally mostly sort of human and elven crews that I've met, so.
Oh, I'm the first of my kind you've seen then.
I have seen others, but not, there's a lovely gentleman with a sort of a white coat who lives in the village up north.
Snowcat. I see. Well, hopefully things pick up soon, or I'm gonna have to start swimming for these fish.
I believe my companion was repairing the net, so maybe can get back to fishing soon.
Ah, that would be lovely. And with that desire for no more attention, that cat strut just turns and walks
Yeah.
towards Book. Heard you were fixing the net. Is it done yet?
Did you take anything else out of my pocket that I need to be aware of?
Shit.
No.
Okay.
Doesn't seem that you did.
I had not begun to fix it yet, but I can get it done as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
How bad is the net in? Like compared
It's
to what
so big.
compared to what it was before?
Like before, you could kind of use it to climb with. Now, it's like strands.
I would try to find Kind then to see if she could do a little
Okay.
bit of magical mending.
Kind of come up and start
'Cause I'm
mending it.
Like I can only do so much with so little.
And that will be Kind's afternoon and evening.
I assume both of us will just be sitting there like mending and tying.
She's slowly casting mending and you're tying.
Tying
Yeah.
knots and yeah.
If I had the mending cantrip, I would help as well.
Sorry.
But I do not. I wonder if she could teach me.
Way to find out. Anything else for this moon day? A long rest happens. We're waxing gibbous, which is almost a full moon. As in, tomorrow's probably going to be full. As the morning comes about, and those of you start to awake and come to, some of you are just awakened to the gentle or rather heavy sound of rain. Some of you are awakened by the loud crashing of thunder. Apparently the weather is all sorts of chaotic as you've been continuing upstream here. And you've come across a thunderstorm. Kind is out and is balancing between running over towards the dry space of the canopy, opening her book, running through some arcane runes and reading it, and running back out into the storm, closing the book to keep it dry and hiding it under the clothes, looking around, seeing a strike of lightning, hearing a crash of thunder, running back underneath, and opening her book again. Yvelin is actually having to fight a little bit of wind and water displacement as things have picked up. Obviously, you're not in an open ocean, but it's
choppy.
pretty intense winds. Your new traveling compatriot is underneath and trying to avoid all of this.
That's fine.
The rest of the crew is out and about, waiting for something horrible to happen so they can fix it.
I'll go up to Kind and be like, is there anything I can do to help? I'm not sure what you're doing. But I am arcane talented myself.
Is this magical to you?
Arcana check?
Please.
Okay, also peek out and be like, what the magical?
Yeah.
Not excellent, only a 15.
Okay.
Good, but not excellent.
3.
It's a storm!
You guys never seen a storm before?
No.
Damn it.
He gets it.
Every time.
Every time.
That's me. It's definitely strange that, from a rolling light rain the day before yesterday to a perfectly sunny day to suddenly have an immense stormfall.
No hint of like the clouds on the horizon or anything before this.
Yeah, and especially, you guys are a little more inland than you were before. It's a little weird.
So it came out of the blue.
Not impossible, but a little weird. And maybe there's magics that can do that. You're not 100%, but possible.
I couldn't tell you, but it certainly does seem odd to be storming so heavily.
That's... damn it. So, make our way back in, read over more of the runes in your book. Actually, I'll have the two of you that can see give me perception checks.
14?
Yeah? Okay.
I'm really bad at those. I think Isidore needs glasses.
It happens rather suddenly that you guys start catching glimpses of this. And
Oh boy, we're about to die.
same for the crew. Not a lot that they notice until it's quite apparent quite suddenly, but there's this crashing of thunder that's then filled with this bellowing and echoing of chaos and combat. Sound of metal clashing, of yelling and screaming, and then another crash, the rain drowning it out. It's hard to make out exactly what's happening, what's occurring around you, and then it's off to your left, from the river, there's an open field, and suddenly this bright strike of lightning just drops down, and that's when you see it. You see banners flying in the sky. You see two armies clashing. Another flicker comes down, and you notice that the lightning is always directed towards one side of the units. The men out there are dressed in full plate armors, mostly human from what you can make out from here. And on the far side you have darker colored armors, this hint of green or black coming off of it, and then a flicker across the banner. And I don't know, is anyone describing this in the book?
Oh, people fighting. I don't know, I barely see anything.
I was gonna say,
I'm like the last person to pick
for
up
me
on
just
it.
watching all this, I'm not saying anything at the moment. I'm just taking it all in. So.
Okay.
It appears we found the combat those soldiers were talking about.
I'm starting to understand the arcane nature of this term that you were talking about. Interesting.
dark. The rain consumes a lot. Another flicker and flash of lightning.
Do the like when I first pick up on the sounds on the wind, does it sound like the
Sounds like a snippet of your dream.
okay, yeah.
You see another burst of lightning drop down and then suddenly stop and get suspended above the army, glowing brightly. And it lights up the battlefield enough that you can see now there's this kind of built-up wooden pedestal. Several robed individuals, robes blowing in the wind, different metal pieces with these large gems strapped to them that are all holding their hands out. And then twist, and that bolt of lightning flies into the other units.
That's one way to fuck up an army. Lightning bolt!
There's yelling, there's chaos. Suddenly there's these bright little orange flickers that you see almost unanimously kind of flicker up over the one side, over the more human side, if you will, that all release at once, and suddenly these explosions, these fireballs just scatter across the field.
I have never seen anything like this. Besides being like, oh, that must be the fighting. Then it's like,
You see
I've been in a wizard battle, haven't you?
these black circles pop
why do you think I'm so bad at combat?
expand outward as several units drop and fall to the ground. Yvelin steers the ship to the other side of the river.
Nope.
Just, we should probably avoid that.
What am I looking at?
But looking up, there's a moment where he goes, that book, what's the Banner of Walsmith look like?
I don't know. No, do I
I've
like?
seen it.
Have I?
I think
do I,
with
would
a
I
nat-
have a
I think
description
with a
of it?
natural 20
Okay,
from
then.
last time, yes, you do. So yeah, you have this description of
But the first thing you definitely say is, I don't know.
Never seen it. Well, I've never seen it, but from what I remember,
so it
has
describes
anyone ever
this.
seen it? Has anyone actually ever seen it in recent memory?
Probably not.
So,
Not
but,
unless they've done some deep digging.
what does it look like?
So you have kind of this castle wall, this gatehouse with a shield on it, two roaring lions at the side, which, per description, and Yvelin yells back, is exactly the banners of Walsmith as they were over 1,000 years ago. Across the field, Yvelin yells about there being this red banner with this black hand on it. And book, that does trigger some memory to you, because the Black Hand was a group of orcs that played a pretty big historical part as well.
Around the same time period?
Around the exact same time period.
Okay, this is getting weird.
They were mortal enemies to Clan Turok. Frequently had conflict with them. And then actually ended up becoming allies towards Baltimore's demise, because the end of the world tends to unite people.
Right.
They, however, according to legend, were wiped out.
Yeah, I would definitely let the captain know that we are now in the presence of seemingly two historical artifacts that should not be here, or whatever the temporal equivalent of here is. They shouldn't be at this when and where. Like, definitely not this when, and I'm not sure why they're this far south either.
It's true, they are quite a ways away
They're
from
real
Roanoke.
far away from where I would expect to encounter anything of this this culture if I were expecting to encounter anything from it, which I was not. So, I don't know.
Is the red banner the ones that seem to be throwing the spells?
Sorry.
So the red banner with the black hand tends to be throwing these more necrotic
I apologize for
blossoms of
the
spells. The lightning is coming down from their
I'm
side.
sorry, from here.
Okay.
And then the fireballs and other arcane
mixture of spells, vitrolic spheres
Yep.
are coming from the more humanoid side.
Wizard battles.
Wizard battles.
This is why I like to do my fighting up close with a blade.
Isidore
That's
just
some
standing at
bullshit.
it.
The crew is going under, pulling up the mast since the wind is brushing the other direction, trying to get some speed. And then as another bolt of lightning comes down, it flickers away entirely, and the arcane runes on the ship go completely dark.
Oh.
Ooh,
Do we,
pretty big dispel.
are we moving?
You are now only having the small force of the wind from behind.
Yeah, that was my, like, do we judder to a halt, or are we now just sort of like
You are
adrift?
basically sitting still. You have
Okay.
the force of the river kind of coming the opposite direction. The wind's pushing you the other way. The crew's trying to get the mast up to get things moving.
I would try to pitch in and help if I could.
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably won't be any help with the ship stuff, but if they're going to try to redo the runes, I could pump a little magic into that to help
All right.
out.
We'll see how that goes. As you guys are assembling athletics, arcana, wrath. Anything in particular you're helping with here?
Nap check.
Anything helping trying to get that mask.
All right, give me an athletics as well.
Damn
then.
it. It was almost a natural 20.
Hold on.
It's only a 14 though.
Okay.
Plus 5, 19.
Nice. And
You said athletics, right?
yes.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I had something for
And Isidore, are you
shit stuff, but I don't.
using that kind of light natural flow of your cantrips, or are you going to burn spell slots?
I'll burn some spell slots. I mean, it's mostly Athelas and Kind that have been doing the magic stuff, right?
Atlas has been tending to it, but Kind is the only one you've seen actually physically casting spells.
I will ask what's needed.
Kind will say, I'm trying to figure that out too, and we'll go over to the edge of the ship, and I'll have her make an arcana check as well. Oh, great arcana check. She's going to start conjuring some energy from the weave and flow into one of the runes. The rune flickers for a moment and then immediately dies out again.
Oh.
I'm not entirely sure. And you see she tries to like flicker up a firebolt or changes it to something else, to an acid bolt because it's raining. And you see the acid like try to start to drip and come across your fingers and then fades very quickly.
I'll try to summon like a mage hand up.
The mage hand kind of flickers into place for a moment and then fades entirely.
That's concerning.
15 on my athletics check.
Okay, with the two of you, the mast is very quickly hoisted up, lifted, being nailed and locked into place. From the battlefield, there's another bolt of lightning. This time, however, it comes down upon a small glimmer, the top of a hammer. And suspended in the sky is an orc holding it. The lightning courses across the hammer, and he comes hurling down. And as that bright light comes shimmering down, there is a man in full plate that comes into light. On each of the joints and on his chest, his helmet, there are these large purple gems in place. Also on the front of this massive shield that he is wielding, that he brings up as the hammer strikes and the lightning diffuses across it.
That's the plate now. Drooling. Yes.
At his side, there's a rather thin-looking, almost rapier-esque weapon, but it's designed kind of lance-like almost in how it comes thick into a thinner point. Another crack of lightning, and you can see, just holding his hand out, he raises it and moves it, and the blade flickers out of his hand and flies towards the orc. The mast now set. The sail slightly unfurls, held up in one point. The Kenku starts to go over and try to climb up, getting up to the top of the sail. I'm going to make a quick check here. Thorn does not feel brave enough to leave your shoulder with the immense winds that are just buffeting down upon you. There's now light that starts coming across the battlefield. the clouds actually part in a section. And you can see the wizards below all physically straining as this happens, creating this opening over their own units. There's a rallying charge as they all rush forward. This orc and this heavy-plated individual have been exchanging blows. And the orc flies skyward.
Like, by his own volition or not?
Seems to be by his own volition.
That's good.
Coming upward, bolts of lightning striking the hammer as
He's
he
going
goes
back
upward.
to Valhalla.
Yeah. Just
The
as
armor-
swiftly as he appeared.
The armored individual releases the shield into the air that starts floating around him, pulls another one from his back, and then kind of braces downward. The gems on the armor glow, and propulsion from underneath, propulsion runes under his feet, push him forward and up, flies upwards towards the orc.
I want to try to, like, continuously just try to summon a cantrip every couple seconds that we're watching this.
Once that sky starts to part, your magic flickers back into place.
We should try again.
Kyne will go over, trying to conserve some of what she has.
Yeah, I'll go over to runes on the other side and
Make an Arcana check. She's trying just at cantrip level to see what can be accomplished, but
19.
using that little magic doesn't seem to charge up.
Yeah.
You do ignite one of the runes, one of many runes that run along the side of the ship.
Do I have to burn a first for that?
Nope. Nope. You can use the natural energy, but it's a slow process.
Okay. This may take some time, kind.
I agree with that. As her rune flickers out. The rest of the crew, some of them are grabbing armaments, trying to figure out what's going on and if they're dealing with this fight. Yvelin is just doing his best to keep the ship moving forward and in place without it crashing down. And as this armored individual rises up towards the sky, toward this orc, the mast is trying to be erect at this point. Kenku climbing up to attempt to pull down a piece of it that's stuck. At this point, you guys have it nailed in place. Another flash of lightning comes across as you see both figures getting higher and higher in the sky. And you notice down below the individual whose sword was whipping around the whole time in that full plate armor is still stationed at the ground. If you're paying that much attention, hard to say. There's an awful lot of storm and an awful lot of chaos. And speaking of chaos, during this time, Thorn, who has been perched firmly, almost gripping Rat's armor not to move, suddenly looks behind him. And behind where he's looking, a small, thin, light slit just opens. Thorn grabs Wrath's head and turns him in that direction. And Wrath steps into the light.
What?
And it closes.
Rude.
Another flash of lightning screams across the sky. These individuals finally meeting each other in the sky. The rotating shield that flies around the armored one connects and blocks that first blow of this lightning hammer as a stroke of lightning comes across it and scatters across the sky. At this point, there is much more light because each strike releases another flash of lightning that comes across to the point where you almost have full light. You can see the hammer bashing against the shield and eventually beating it to the side as it flies and descends downward. The other shield that he's holding is using to beat away these blows, but these crackles of electricity are coming past and into his armor.
Book?
Where did Wrath go?
Book, where did Wrath go?
Well,
Of course you don't know. Monkey, some lights, and they walked into the light, and now they are gone.
Kenku at this point has cut a rope and grabbed onto the mast and dropped down with it. And just as that wind picks up, movement starts to flow again I don't know if you're still working on the arcane runes with
Yes, I'm
Kine,
trying to recharge the runes of time.
but Kine has lit up another one.
Smoke him if you got him.
And just as this happens, the winds shift direction and begin pushing you to the other side of the river,
Away from the army?
towards the army.
Fuck.
You're on the other side of the river right now.
Oh,
That's where
no.
the villain tried to steer you to get away from all this.
Not good. Not great.
So they look at Kind, and Kind, this short, red-headed dwarf, finally just says, "Oh, fuck it." And she's going to start burning spell slots.
Oh.
I was just about to say I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, how we coming on those runes?
Working on it.
Her side of the ship pulses forth and lights up entirely.
What kind of spell slots we talking?
What do you want to burn?
I only have second levels. I mean, I have first levels too, but
All right. Make an
Let's,
Arcana check if you want to burn it.
let's pump a second in there, see what happens.
Okay.
15.
15. Your lights, those runes light up across the side, mostly filling the ship. Both sides kind of lit up now. The ship starts pulsing heavily on Kind's side to try to push you away from the shore again, and you kind of come to a dead, still set between the wind and the runes.
I mean, yeah, smoke them if you got them. I'll burn my other second level
Okay.
to activate some more. Sorry, I stole your phrase.
That's okay. What I'm here for.
Another Arcana check.
Yes, please.
That is an 18 on the die for a total of 24.
Okay. Another pulse, the back rune, the front rune, the bigger of the runes on there light up, and with that burst of energy, the ship starts getting pushed to the far side again. And forward some. In the distance, that orc has now been bearing down on this armored individual. They have each other in a lock, and both of them are getting shocked by this electrical hammer that's still pulsing. The orc seeming to take barely nothing from it, but pieces of his armor now, this individual, you can see dents, holes, cracks as it begins kind of peeling away, falling to the ground. They're both in a free fall. And at this point, the armored figure attempts to spin around the orc, and does as they come down faster and faster, gravity picking up. And you notice the blade on the ground, as these flickers of lightning are still flashing brightly, the blade begins to spin in place. And then goes dark as both of them hit it. The skies
Terrifying.
start to part. Daylight starts pulling through.
And the army?
The army, still there.
Okay.
Still flashing. Still that section of wizards that is throwing spells, counter-spelling. The armored individual now also has a blade stuck through his armor, and him has pushed himself off of the orc and is laying on the ground next to him. Several robed individuals are rushing as quickly as possible toward the armored individual. The orc stands with a blade just next to its heart.
Should have fell an inch to the side.
And goes to deliver the final blow against this individual on the ground.
You can call him Gregory Walsmith. It's okay. We know.
Okay. Yes. Walsmith lying there. I'll say Walsmith, that much is accurate. As the hammer comes down, the flying shield comes underneath, catches the blow. The armored individual throws his hands to the side. The pieces of armor fly away from him. He reaches swiftly to his side, pulling open a spell book and flipping to a page before a bright beam of sunlight comes from his hand and sears through the orc. And he finally drops.
I'll tell you what's happening later.
I assume someone's narrating this to me.
Oh, yeah. The whole crew is just in a hubbub. Like,
Yeah.
did you see him fall and hit? And that now there's beam of light, and you're getting pieces of it.
I'm leaned over the side of the ship trying to like regenerate runes, and I'm like, oh, they're falling! Look, they're falling now! Oh, they've landed on a sword!
Finally,
Alright, yeah, okay. I got that.
keeping track? Okay.
Perception check to see if I can figure out what the hell's going on.
Finally, in the sky, there are these small black holes that pop all over. And then large rocks begin descending from them. On the orc side, there's a massive black wall that suddenly
Look, the sky is falling!
gets thrown up by whatever spellcasters are over there. These large flaming rocks hit against it and begin pushing and darkening and breaking apart and shattering. And then that wall breaks. And the rest of them continue to fall upon that army.
I just grip the railing and say quietly to myself, rocks fall, everyone dies.
Behind them, these purple spheres begin to pop open. And you can see on the other side what looks like some sort of savanna. And the orcs begin rushing through these portals. Now that there is full daylight, you do notice that there are some very strange creatures that are also retreating. A couple of flying creatures from the darkness of the clouds have now descended and are flying through the portals. They have a bird-like skull, come into kind of a hunched humanoid, wings that spread wide, and this kind of bony tail that comes around the side. There are small green creatures with these small horns that come up, a very long wrapping tail. They look almost rat-like, but completely green in skin. Piercing white eyes that have been muddled among the orcs and are now also in full retreat with them. Let's see.
If I did a history check based on someone describing that to me, would I be able to potentially identify those creatures, or would that be a...
Very challenging, but I'd say yes, there's a thin chance that you might know what they are.
Can I roll a check?
Sure. Again, thin chance.
Ooh.
I'll allow it.
14?
I'll roll with disadvantage.
You can roll normally, that's fine. I'm just setting the DC higher. Probably not, to your knowledge.
No.
The last of them are these sickly-looking goat-like creatures. Humanoid, though, standing tall, thin, lengthy, horns that curve up or to the side, thicker bits of hair that kind of come down from the neck down to the chest, across the waistline, that are leaping and bounding through these portals as well. A few more fireballs are lit off from the wizards that are standing kind of on this lifted pedestal. The army continues to charge, and one last thing I need to see with those wizards. And several of those portals in the back begin closing. There's another flicker from the arcane runes underneath, but they stay lit this time on the boat. And the army pushes forward on the orcs. The individual, now out of his armor, puts his hand over it, pulls it upward, and it floats, and then puts his hand over the book, and it disappears. He closes it, puts it back to his side, and starts limping his way over to the robed individuals who finally start piling healing spells on him.
How far away were the wizards from us?
The wizards are probably 400 or 500 feet away at this point.
That was a hell of a dispel they threw.
Yeah.
Holy shit, then. I mean, listen, I don't want them to be any closer, but...
There is a group of them casting,
Still,
as I said, 10 individuals.
Still, it's a lot.
like, I guess I don't know enough about like is that an area effect? Like does that go out in a like
Your typical dispel magic?
I'm
does not.
terrified that we were caught in the radius of that.
Typically no.
Yeah, no, I
Oh, any like magic items we have on us, were they affected by that?
I take it you weren't focusing on them, but if you think about it, it would seem so.
Okay.
For a moment, they did flicker out and then back in.
Okay. That's why I like put my hand to my necklace.
Mhm.
It feels normal, so.
For now. The boat finally rights itself, continues pushing forward. There's some yelling from the now, actually wearing these dark bluish robes underneath that heavy armor. This individual is now making his way towards the stand of wizards and is throwing his hands about, seems to be yelling up in their direction. Not necessarily tactfully, more like he's giving them a hard time about something.
their gigantic unfocused burst to spell magic, perhaps.
Come on, you made the people over there on the river have a weird day.
He
I'm gonna guess that it did a lot more than that.
kind of sighs in exhaustion, looks at his wound, takes a breath, flicks his hand open. This massive ball of flame forms in it, and he throws it in the direction. Just continues to sail past until it hits the orcs and just
Wait a minute, us.
yeah, looks in your direction. You.
All right, I'll roll a dexterity save, but it's not going to be good.
He does, as he continues his way over, suddenly look in your direction.
Oh shit! Isidore ducks down.
You can see he stops for a
It's
moment.
your problem.
The whole crew is like,
He's looking at us.
he looks over, just starts
I just
laughing
wave.
in place, just gives a wave to you.
I don't know. Oh, was he waving back? Good.
He stops for a moment, looks at the army. They seem to be pushing forward quite successfully. Looks at the bunch of wizards, holds his hand up towards his mouth, kind of twiddling his fingers as he does, pointing in their direction. And then looks,
Yes, the finger twiddling spell. I know that one.
yeah, it's a common spell.
Yeah.
Looks back over at the boat, and then appears.
Kokon, no.
Well, hello there!
Hi.
How did you enjoy the show?
Like nothing I've ever seen before.
It was terrifying.
Yes, you're blind. That's funny. Yes. Oh, here. He will reach towards his head, kind of twist his hand, and these wisps will come from his mind and begin to form into almost a cylinder-like shape. And then he'll hold it out towards you.
What do I do with it?
Push it against your forehead.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Never seen anything like this before either.
Now, that's fair. Suddenly, a burst of images come through you.
Oh, I hate this.
I like that you just like unicorn it.
You get the sensations and you feel the tiredness and raggedness of this army that's marched for hours and hours on end. You see them finally coming to this field and setting up, building their pedestal for the wizards, and you notice that on the wood itself, they spent time carving arcane runes, both on the top and bottom side of it before erecting it. They set up spikes in preparation. Then this orc army comes to meet them. The army itself, putting their hands out, suddenly those portals open in front of them, and these awful-looking creatures that I described before come rushing from the portals in a surprise attack that throws the army off. The clashing begins. Off in the distance, this one rather heroic-looking orc, the maul in his hands, suddenly calls a bolt of lightning to it, and the skies begin to darken, recognizing the narration that's been occurring and getting a full-fledged view of the whole army before coming back to your senses.
It's just like when I saw, the first time I saw
Yes.
We got stuff.
the gods.
You get colors, you get visuals, you get smells, senses, the whole 9 yards are there.
Okay, that was a lot. And I give him the thing back. How is it that you fight under that banner that has not been seen, as far as I'm aware, for nearly 1,000 years?
That comes to this. He points at a ring on his hand. The ring has basically the etching of a brain on it that kind of comes to the side and has these two diamonds that sit on either side. My ancestor.
Pleasure to meet you.
He says hello back. During the fall of Wallsmith, many of the Wallsmith clan was trapped within certain items that they had upon them.
Oh.
Some of them were even trapped in soul gems by the assaulter, and, we were told about it. I came across this ring at an auction. I guess the idea was that eventually a true Wallsmith would find their heritage. And after over 1,000 years, we did.
And which Wallsmith do we have the honor of addressing today?
Call me Walter.
Walter Wallsmith.
Yes. And from the long line, my brother Gregory. And he points to the wizard that's been channeling from the rest of them up on the podium.
I don't follow his point.
I wave.
He's busy, pulling arcane focus from all of these wizards
Doesn't matter.
as another burst just explodes across the battlefield from behind.
This time he's not waving back. I think he's busy.
Well, quite a spectacle, I imagine. If you're wondering, the orcs across the way, I guess some of the Black Hand had a similar experience before Baltimore wiped them out. Some of them found themselves in soul-imbued items, and, they go by the Hellzag now, but have started to fly the banner and blame us for everything that happened, even though, from my understanding anyway, we're told, they chose to fight Baltimore. There was no coercion there.
Did he say they call themselves the Hell's Egg?
It did sound like that.
Hellzag. Z-A-G.
Hey, that's how I spelled it.
Yes, Hellzag. It means black weapon in Orcish.
Oh, I don't speak Orcish.
So, anyway, I thought I'd just come fill you in. Besides, it's kind of fun just to pop on over and see how people react.
Yeah, I bet.
I imagine you get terror quite frequently.
Depends on the people.
Well, it was an honor to meet you, Lord Wallsmith.
Lord. You get used to that.
I wouldn't.
I love you. You're such a turd.
I imagine we've offset your voyage by a bit. It seems we've disturbed some others in the area. Would you like me to put you back on track?
Would be appreciated. It's been quite difficult to get
Of course.
this restarted.
He will hop off of the boat, standing on the water,
Naturally.
No, that's a good trick.
and will put his hand on the edge of the boat, and the arcane runes on the side glow extremely bright, and then suddenly, and you pop back into the water several hundred of feet away from the battlefield.
I
Just
think
happened.
he just teleported the entire boat. I look back. Is he still standing there?
He's still standing on the water,
Yeah.
far in the distance.
Ouch! Oh, Mordecai.
Oh, I should
I'm not
mention,
used to it yet. There's been so much of that going on lately.
I may never get used to it.
apparently in the confusion of who's been disrupted, also now standing on your vessel is a half-elf individual. Black hair. Well, I'll let you describe Elvis.
Whoa! Oh,
Oh no!
Get used to it.
I'm all shook up. Hi, I'm Elphys.
Just for shits and giggles, both of you give me history checks.
15. My dice are rolling like nothing but 9s
Ooh,
today.
that is a 28.
28, okay. So,
Oh my.
How have I heard of it?
actually, this does kind of work, though. Isidore, because of your religious background.
I re-looked at my numbers. It was only at 12.
Okay. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't.
Yeah.
Sorry. Look,
Sorry.
for some reason, you've heard about this Conta Concordis,
Conta Concordis.
Rockstar.
Viva Las Cordes.
Yep. So the name Elphys does ring a bell.
Thank
Classic
you.
phrase.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I actually do know who this is, who you are.
How could you not?
Well,
I've never heard of him.
oh, you
Who is
will.
it?
Elphys Priestley?
Yes, yes. I'm so glad that you can see me for who I am.
So he's a musician and also a paladin. Paladin?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh.
yes. For Conta Concordis. See, I'm spreading the word of music and joy and
He did
roll, roll.
He did a whole
Oh.
thing in like the southwestern islands at one point. I don't know. It wasn't really my favorite.
They can't all be greats.
Hello, Elvis. It's so nice to meet you.
Elphys, thank you,
Elphys.
thank you. It's nice to meet you. What was your name?
Isidore.
Isidore. Isadoring fan. I'm gonna remember your name. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. And your name, good fellow, with such bright eyes.
Book.
Book. Like Rita?
Yes.
Ah.
But he can't, you see, he's blind.
Yeah, I can't.
Ah.
It's cruel irony, you see.
Alanis Morissette sings it best, whoever that is.
Whatever that is.
Might not be a bad time to do a quick character description, since we're all here now.
Oh. So, Elphys is dressed in this, it's basically a white Under Armour with some golden, well, probably gold-plated, armor on top, a red cape, very Elvis-esque. He's got a lute and a morning star.
Bell bottoms?
No, just some boots.
Oh, okay.
Some boots, some blue suede boots. He's got
Don't step
dark
on him.
hair with a
I'll try not to.
big pompadour and these really, really big mutton chops. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
So,
Val, would you like to describe Isidore?
Yes. Isidore is a rather petite, dorky-looking figure with, like, bangs and, like, a chin-length, like, bowl cut.
oh,
Dark hair, pale skin, indoor kid, 100%.
got it.
Very, sort of soft-spoken and weird. And religious.
Oh, okay, great. We'll get along.
About 5'10", muscular fishing build, dark skin, dark hair, completely blind, which you can obviously tell from looking at my eyes. Dressed in pretty simple garb, hand wraps, foot wraps. I have a short staff on my back, or maybe slung to my side. I haven't really decided where I keep it yet.
Elphys, how did you end up here?
Real quick for Ben's sake, you are also surrounded by a very, very attractive drow.
Oh,
Like a 90 out of a D100.
We're with a bunch of really sexy pirates right now. Sailors.
Everyone on this boat is super hot.
The least attractive one is the dwarf, who only got 50 out of 100 on the attractive.
You know, we
Sure,
have to
sure,
have attractiveness
sure.
for our own character.
That's well, we can get there if you guys want. So Drow has these white
You
dreadlocks,
can't see it anyways.
those sharp elven features, very attractive, man.
Sure.
There's kind of this rhino-skinned, hided individual, slightly hunched over, and has black hair. He's got these teeth that he keeps trying to like jam back into his mouth. He sometimes uses his teeth to keep them in, but it seems like these two like fang-like teeth keep kind of dropping out from his face. The red-headed dwarf kind that they described before, a little nerdy, a little pimply, book at her side. There is a shirtless, slightly scaly elf individual, those sharp features, but he does have a bit of like stubble, short hair kind of coming in. There is a Kenku that is pretty heavily scarred and beat up, missing feathers across the face and the body. And then a Tabaxi that has the sort of cheetah print appearance that pretty much never leaves the side of the ship at this point from what you've seen. They're always kind of leaning over and looking, and they seem to be watching the strange individual behind them.
Also insanely hot.
And among this crew and these two individuals as well.
Well, I I certainly can't say why I'm here, but looking around me, I can tell you that I'd like a little less conversation and maybe a little more action. I'll walk over to the drow and introduce myself.
Your villain, a pleasure.
Look what it
Alphys.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Alphys Priestley.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
He's gonna have to.
Can I regale you all with a song?
We have to pay.
We had
Sure.
the guy we picked
Hey,
up in the water.
Why not?
Hey, we're not the one had to pay. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about that later too, by the way.
So,
I know you were interested in that.
yeah, I basically just want to
Um,
perform like the only
Maybe I shouldn't put my hands
sea
on top of
shanty
my
I
mouth.
know.
Okay.
Because I'm on a boat.
You're on camera.
So,
Yeah. Give me a performance check. Let's see
Great.
how this goes.
okay.
Is he trying to seduce the captain already?
No, he's
No,
not
I'm
saying
just
song.
performing.
I mean, but also, yes.
Yes. Performance check. So that makes 12.
Okay. We can say that, I mean, it's above average. Sea shanties aren't your specialty.
Not my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know, there's a couple of bad chords and a little off singing, and you make
Get
up
on my
for
sea
it
legs
with,
just yet.
yeah, you know, you just slip to the side and strum, and you know,
I said we're on a river.
yeah.
I have my river legs. You're
You, you know, you make up for it with charisma.
Ah. Thank you very much. My sea shanties may not be my best, but I
Gotcha. No, it's best work.
There's kind of a soft clap among the crew, and then they go back to being busy. The sea elf is kind of hanging off the edges now, sticking his head underwater, comes back up and goes over to the Tabaxi, Laquilda, and starts talking about some of the damage and repairs that will be needed, and he makes his way around, does the same thing, drops off the other side.
That guy that we picked up in the water, is he still on the boat?
He's been under the ship now, it seems,
Okay.
for a while.
Just making sure he's not, you know, dead or pooped or something. Because I still don't trust him.
Great tune. Thanks.
yeah. Is this your ship?
It is.
It's a beaut. So I mean, I assume if you teleported me here, you wanted to hear of the word of Conta Concordis.
Sure.
That is why you teleported me here, right?
I don't believe your arrival here was intentional.
I don't have that power.
I definitely don't.
You see,
I'm not even very good at healing.
You don't. I
There
don't
was
seem to
actually
understand.
someone else here who
Oh!
disappeared. Where were you before this?
Well, I was on my way to my gig, and I assumed this was the gig. I get booked for things. You see, I don't just show up places.
I don't think he was talking about you.
Thank you. Clearly.
Well, okay. Long story. Can you see their big army back over there on the side of the road?
Oh.
Yes, road.
River.
We're on a river.
Up there.
Yeah. So there was big, crazy wizard fight going on.
Was that all the crazy blasts that I heard?
Maybe?
Yes.
Thunder?
Maybe.
Probably.
Booming?
There was thunder.
There was a pretty massive storm going on, and
That
they
the
did
big
some
one seemed
sort
to be
of
able to-
some sort of blast that radiated all the way out to where we were, shut down all the magic on the ship for a few minutes, which
Oh.
magic helps propel the ship, so that was a bit stressful.
Oh, it's a magic ship.
And
It's a
then
ship propelled by magic.
Wrath disappeared,
You can also use the sail.
and then Wallsmith came by, and I don't know when you arrived. The Wallsmith gentleman moved our entire boat further down the river, which was jarring, to say the least.
How much further down the river are we?
Several hundreds of feet.
And then you were here.
Like, did it actually make up for the time we lost, or was it just a
You got
symbolic, like, look what I can do?
It's like about a half mile.
Okay. It's not bad.
Yeah. You made me.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah.
It was
I
definitely
can't teleport something half a mile, and I don't know anyone else who can, so...
What, it'd be about like
I can't.
2,200 something feet,
Yeah.
basically. That you...
yeah, not bad. I'll allow it.
I don't think you have a choice.
No, clearly I don't.
I will clarify. Wallsmith had said, yes, it seems that you and others got caught up in this mess,
Yeah.
and I'll put you back on track. He teleported the ship. Elfish showed up.
Okay.
Ah.
So it's
Do
Wallsmith's
you think
fault.
he meant to teleport Wrath back?
Probably.
Oh.
I hope so. The monkey's not here either, right?
Nope,
Okay.
Monkey's gone too.
That is a relief.
Is it?
Yes.
Wrath? Like the wrath
I say a silent prayer to the monkey.
of the non-believers?
Just that I miss him.
To be
Yeah,
honest,
he's
I
working on
didn't
his
ask
scripting.
how his name was spelled.
Oh. Sure.
Yeah.
So you're missing a wrath and a monkey. A wrathful monkey?
I
No.
think so.
Really? He's more of a trickster monkey.
As monkeys often are.
Hmm.
Sure.
He's more than a monkey, though. We still haven't quite sussed that out. Actually, now that you're here, if Wrath and the monkey were here, you'd probably have the most insight on it. Ironic.
Insight on what? The monkey?
The monkey.
Oh.
That's whatever.
You know what I did learn?
What?
The monkey speaks celestial.
What?
I know.
Do you speak Celestial?
Maybe.
Oh. Well, maybe.
A little
Either
bit.
do or you don't.
A little bit. I'm not entirely fluent.
Okay. Well, fluent enough to talk to the monkey?
I've said some things to him.
What did you say to the monkey?
I can't remember. They weren't rude, I don't think.
What did you say back?
That's not in my notes.
Oh. When did this happen?
We'll
talk about that later,
You didn't
too.
book me. What am I doing here?
I would also like to know that.
kind of what we're trying to figure out. As it stands,
The guy who teleported you booked me?
Doubtful.
he was in the middle of a war. I can't imagine he would have need of a...
Where was your gate supposed to
Entertainment
be?
is a big need to fill.
Yes.
Even during war times.
Where was your gig meant to be?
You see, I was on my way to get a gig.
Ah.
As I was trying to spread the word of Constant Corner.
So you didn't actually have a gig that we're delaying you from.
Well,
So no one's expecting you.
I mean,
Well, at least that means Wrath's not on stage someplace.
That would be funny.
We would.
I'm sure I'm set to perform at the churches in
Soltarius.
Soltarius.
Oh, we are north of there. Heading north.
Oh, heading north.
Well,
Everyone will kind of look over. Although, depending on what your prices are, I wouldn't mind some music. It has been ungodly quiet these past few days.
What? Of course I'd be happy to do that.
Be quiet. You said you didn't want to stop and do anything. We could have...
Exactly. We don't have to stop if the entertainment's on board.
Invoke entertainment.
Win-win in my book.
As the people financing this voyage, do we have any say in this?
I can charge you extra if you want them to leave.
That's not what I meant.
Sure. What do you think? Would you like the dead and dulling silence of nothing but the sound of...
Just wait until you hear my prices.
Yeah, that's the important part. What do you cost? Because I'm kind of cheap.
Yeah, no, I'm great.
Silence.
He literally rescued a guy from the river and charged him a fare to continue on board the boat. So you're, like, getting off easy right now as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, it's just a gold piece a day, and you have to listen to my preachings.
See, it sounds like he performs for free because we're taking him somewhere, and we listen to preachings. I'm good.
Throw in food, and you have a deal.
Done.
Make the preachings not mandatory.
If you could find a place to get away from him on the boat, they're not mandatory. There's a lower level.
That's fair. Yeah, that's all right. Fine. As long as I'm not required to go.
No.
I don't have that spell.
Perfect. On board entertainment,
I'll start immediately.
please.
And I just whip out my lute again and start playing some of my greatest hits. These you might recognize. Lovely Tender, Return to Sender, Blue Suede Boots.
Oh, I like the one about the dog.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
All right, look. There was an Elphys impersonator at the Tidecrest Gathering one year. And I had to go see him because it's what family wanted to do. And the sea shanties weren't good. I'm sorry, they just weren't good.
No.
They're just not good.
You're right. The sea shanties were my worst.
See?
I don't know what either of you are talking about.
Would you like to know why?
I mean, sure, I guess.
This is the first ship I've ever been on.
Why would you do a whole sea shanties tour then?
Well, because of the demographic, of course. You gotta try and find a fan wherever they can.
And you think this is better than the monkey? All right, whatever. Fine. Let me go find some rope to coil or something.
Elphys is probably less likely to poop on me while I'm sleeping.
Oh yeah, I certainly won't do that.
Point in your favor.
All right, I can't argue with you there. I mean, he's never pooped on me, but I feel like that's because we established a rapport very early on.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk to him, though.
But I choose not to.
This monkey sounds like bad business. I seem like a much better fit.
Listen.
Well, ideally, the monkey's going to be back at some point, so I wouldn't put yourself as his replacement quite yet. Also, she's right. They're right. You probably don't want to start making that comparison to yourself now if you want to get in people's good graces.
We'll figure everything out as soon as we get back to a city, perhaps. Maybe when we get to Yonarak. Perhaps there are gigs there.
Yeah, no, I must spread the word of Count Concordus. And, you know, I was walking this way because of all this storms. There was lightning and thunder, and I felt drawn to it in a way that I can't quite describe.
I thought you were walking in the opposite direction. You were going toward the place we just left, correct?
Yeah, I'm walking south. Still heard the booms and crashes of thunder and lightning.
Right, but we were going north. You were walking... Oh, okay, I gotcha.
This is the second suspicious storm we've run into, because there was the other one where the magic sword was.
That's true.
That the monkey has.
Oh.
I mean, we do have an explanation for this storm, though. That the orc with the small attracted the light. That is, like, that's what I saw. Yeah.
Well, I know how to attract lightning.
Please don't.
You are wearing metal armor.
While that is certainly a very impressive feat, perhaps this is not the best venue to showcase that particular style.
Oh no, I'm just playing music for y'all. Entertainment.
Well, I mean, calling lightning is probably really entertaining. Just what a small ship in the middle of a river.
Yeah.
It's not about the entertainment value, I promise.
We only talk through lightning when it's spiritual. When speaking to the Count Concordis.
I speak to Violactiquaeus in my sleep. It's most relaxing.
Book with your passive perception under her breath. You can just hear Kind looking at her spell book and going, it's not that hard to call lightning, you know.
I'll go over and sit next to him.
I can do it.
Little redheaded dwarf. Just
I can't call lightning, but I can.
Shoot the lightning? I can
Yes.
do that too.
I figured.
Yeah.
The two skills rather go together.
It's fun.
Do I also have? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I move on to Viva Las Cordas. That's my next song.
very nice.
I don't know any of these songs. I guarantee you.
It's okay.
Music regales you. Time passes. You continue along your journey. Unless there are any other events for the day that you would like to,
Nap.
of course, get involved in. Night will come. You will meet one other individual who does come up during the night. This blonde-haired individual, short, scraggly hair, if I can remember
Oh,
correctly.
new member of the crew. How hot are they?
Blue eyes. Makes his way up, hearing the music. He'll sit and listen for a little bit, but mostly there's kind of this canopied section on the front of the ship that provides some shade and shelter from the weather, and he mostly sits under it and just kind of staring off into the distance.
And I assume that he's probably one of the only people that is at this point still listening to me. Listening being
I mean, yeah, he's kind of zoning out, but bobbing to the music.
I'm half laying on a crate, passed out.
I would probably reach out and say well, that friend, what is your name?
Talvin.
Talvin.
Yes.
Talvin, have you heard of the preachings of Count Concordis before?
No. Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, have you enjoyed my songs so far?
They're a nice distraction.
Well,
I'm only familiar with Philactia.
Count Concordis will help take your worries and struggles away. What worries you so? I can tell you're distant.
Being thrown out of one's own home typically is not being called things that you never did. It's a long story.
Well, that sounds awfully complicated. Let the words and the praise of Count Concordis lighten your heart and make you merry. And I dive into Don't Be Cruel.
Thanks.
I have a question that I neglected to ask earlier.
Uh-huh.
How much do I know about Concordis?
Give me a religion.
I'm good at.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for. 21.
Concordis. It starts to come to you now. That's right. The goddess of music. She is known loosely to have a connection to another musical being known as the Mindfire Goddess, but her name is escaping you at the moment. Concordis is the goddess of all music, of sound. She is another open-headed kind of goddess in her physique. Her head actually does kind of come up in this wooden form, nose and mouth, no eyes, but comes up and bends almost loop-like out from the top of her head, with 2 wood pieces that come from the side as well.
Oh, she freak.
Light typically dances from within her mind and comes outward. Beyond that, kind of a typical female physique minus the very prominent gem in her chest. Typically, or almost always, carrying a lute and usually floating on a piece of rock that has a copper plate pressed into the front of it. But when it comes to music, no matter what kind, jovial, sad, doesn't matter. She covers all of it. And her followers tend to break those into pieces and pick up stylized versions of her to show their respect and their worship. Some people try to cover the spectrum, some people don't, but fame and fortune have very little to do with the pure joy of music that's supposed to be brought from her worship.
Does she have like a symbol that I would know
Her symbol is typically kind of like the flowing light put into whatever signia behind, behind a lute.
of? Gotcha.
Simple, elegant. Tugvin will stand up suddenly, make his way around, and start asking, does anyone know what day it is? What's, or what...
I can guess.
Well, I got teleported onto this boat, friends, so I can't tell you what is up and what is down. I only know that I'm around.
If any of you think your characters are savvy enough to keep track of the day and or the lunar cycles that you're in, you are in true day, and that means tomorrow is wetter day.
Okay. My character absolutely keeps a dream journal with like notations of moon phases in it. So.
Okay. So you know.
Well, I would say that I would know moon cycles for worship purposes, I think.
Okay. Then yeah, as I mentioned, true day. We are in a. I did mention this a bit last time. We're in a waxing.
You did, yes. We're almost full.
I did
So we're
remember
waxing
that.
gibbous.
Gibbous. There we go. Yes, waxing gibbous. And if you do keep track of the moon, then you would know that tomorrow will be a full moon, actually.
Book's heard of the moon, certainly.
Yeah, I imagine.
But it's pretty cool.
He knows it's up there sometimes.
Has a lot to do with water. And, yeah.
Not much to do with him, really.
So you would be super into counting upwards.
I count it.
Sound? Music? That's what you have.
I can throat sing.
That's great.
It's not really music, though.
Singing.
It has singing in the name. It sounds like music.
We're top men asking if anyone knows what day it is.
Tomorrow's wetter day.
Yep.
Okay. Make his way to the front of the ship, kind of look over the bow. Yeah, we'll make it. Yeah.
Do you need to be somewhere at a particular time?
I should try to be home before tomorrow. So
Interesting.
I guess we'll get home about tomorrow if we keep heading at speed. It should be fine. Like I said, I want to go home. I want to pack my things and forget about horrible things that have been said about me.
Insight. I'll re-roll
That
that.
looks like a mess over there.
I don't know what I got. Oh, it's just a d6. It's fine.
What is it?
It's not good. It's a 10.
10? Yeah, wants to go home.
Okay,
I will also roll an insight check.
please do.
He'll go back and sit back down where he was.
13.
Slightly better.
Starts staring at the deck and thinking to himself,
That's fun.
Can I do a persuasion check to try and get him to talk to me?
Sure. Yeah, give me persuasion.
Yeah. I'm back to sleep.
12.
Okay. What do you ask?
I ask him, why he got kicked out of his home.
I mentioned to these guys before, I was called a murderer and a thief.
Called that, but you do
Yes.
not call yourself that.
No, it's just a great amount of shame. I've lived out in the woods for a long time on my own. These people moved in next to me. They left me alone. I left them alone. Occasionally I'd stop in, say hi, and everything seemed friendly. Everything seemed fine. And then it's just...
Both of them.
That was step up table.
And things just went poorly. Next thing I know, they're on my doorstep yelling about how I'm this horrid person chasing me out of my home and knocking me unconscious. I floated down the river until they found me.
You say they claim you were a murderer. Who did they think you murdered?
I don't remember her name. No, it was Jezebel. She was ill. She had something that they couldn't cure. And I think they just need someone to blame. But still not fun to be called that. I even tried to help. Made up some concoctions from the forest that should have cured her, but I don't think what she had was natural.
Oh. So you're a herbalist then?
I know a couple of my plants, yeah.
You said they knocked you out?
Yes, they came at me with pitchforks and other things, and I was beaten over the head many a time and floated downriver. I don't know how long.
Does he look like he has actually been beaten?
No.
Did you heal him when he came on board?
I believe I did in the intention of waking him up.
Mm-hmm.
Did he look beat? He didn't look beat up when we found him though.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember
His
that.
clothes were torn up and looked like he had been assaulted, but physically himself, he didn't have a scratch on him.
Yeah, and it was like he's not unconscious, he's just asleep, if I recall correctly.
I love
He
him
was
so
knocked
much.
out.
Oh, he was knocked out. Okay.
Yes, he was knocked out.
Yeah,
but-
he was unconscious.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think he had actually taken any damage. It's hard playing a character that wants to believe everybody when I don't believe anybody because they're all full of shit.
I would say something along like, things are looking bright, my friend. You don't look like you have a scratch upon you.
I got lucky. It's a good blow to the back of the head, I imagine.
Well, Contra Concordis can bring joy to your life through song. And I start in on Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Oh, I hope so. And he'll kind of listen along and, again, kind of have that, like, off in the distance stare, but he'll be bobbing his head.
His head that has no markings on it. Oh, you heal from my guess. Suspicious.
It is very suspicious. He's super suspicious.
Any other events for the evening?
I might try to seduce the captain.
Get in line.
Yeah.
Give me a persuasion check.
I say yeah, but I'm not trying.
19.
No,
As I know.
I'm sure everybody's trying to seduce the captain.
Well, I know that if Isidore got in on the game, y'all bitches would be out of luck.
Elphus, there's
I
a
already slept with the blacksmith. It's
I know.
fine.
moment you kind of strut up to him,
I tried to flirt with the cat.
giving him that
Racist.
Elvis,
I'm
Elphus,
Rapidly,
priestly vibe.
like,
Mhm.
You look deep into his eyes, and before you can say a word, he is on top of you.
Great.
Is this in full view of everybody?
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
I mean,
Oh.
not much I can do about that.
Oh, that's perfect. Great.
So
no, I just meant the full view thing.
I don't think he's going super indecent, but the makeout sesh is definitely above ship.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's going below ship tonight, except these two.
I'm going to, like, minor illusion, like a blanket hanging in between where Isidore and they are.
You got my castanets out, and I'm like,
Yes.
Ooh, never mind that.
second instrument's castanet.
Yeah.
So, from under the ship, there is the vigorous sounds, and then you see Kind.
They're special castanets, especially for sex, though. They're sex castanets.
Sextonets?
Sex.
No, they're not just for sex. I use them for poetry too.
Oh, I mean,
American Beauty style lying on the bed of the cast.
a pair of castanets over each nipple. Wow.
Yeah, it's perfect.
As the vigor increases, Kind stands up, walks down the steps, and then there is silence,
Oh, thank goodness.
and she walks back up.
Oh god, I thought you were going to say she was going to join in.
Oh, she sits down, curls back up in her blanket, and just leans against the...
I go over to her
From
and
like across the way, I'm just like,
I sit down next to her and I say, I could see them.
I can't stop the movement, but I can stop the sound, so
Oh, yeah, no, I'm aware.
there's at least that much.
I can still see them.
perhaps if you walk to the other end of the ship, get them out of your range.
Oh, yeah.
I could suspend you for 10 minutes if we hopefully only
You think
have
10 minutes is long enough?
I was hoping.
So it depends on the captain.
Stamina check.
Yeah, I make my way 20 feet away from...
Roll a D100 for how long our torment lasts.
I mean,
61.
Oh shit.
I have to check on the duration of the silence spell. Hang on. Have to make sure it'll last long enough.
It's not just like a minute, is it?
It might be. Silence.
1 minute of silence.
Up to
an
10
hour
minutes.
of-
10 minutes is a ritual. The evening pass is exhilarating for some and exhausting for others.
It was both exhilarating and exhausting.
Fair enough.
Thank you so much for watching episode 8 of Fell Nightmares. I hope you enjoyed this episode and our new companion who's along for the ride. As always, if you enjoy this content, please give us a like, maybe leave a comment down below, let us know how we're doing, and if you know anyone who would enjoy this content, please pass our videos along so we can share our story with others. Now, until next time, I hope that joy, peace, and kindness are with you. And until then, stay epic, my friend!